It's Hot 937, Hartford's #1 for hip hop and R&B. This is the B2C team. My name is Jenny Boom Boom. DJ Michi's here. What up, Meech?
Good morning. What's up?
All right, so we have my friend September Chatfield here today from Victims Against Violence. Hi, September.
Hi, Jenny. Hi, Michi.
Hey, what's up?
Okay, so September sounds so tame all of a sudden. 2 seconds ago, we were dying laughing. Okay, so September, tell me a little bit about Victims Against Violence for anybody that's just, for the first time hearing about this.
Victims Against Violence was founded back in 2014. It originated because of my son, Tyreek Marquez. Back in 2008, we were attending a local West Indian Day parade in Hartford, and he was a victim of gun violence. He was struck in the head by a stray bullet at the age of 7 years old. Tyreek was hospitalized for 3 months. He had to learn how to walk all over again. And he's also been left partially paralyzed on his left side, where he walks with a limp and he's unable to use his left hand. But now Tyreek is a 19-year-old sophomore at Central Connecticut State University.
So exciting.
Yes, he's a grown man now. So he overcame a lot of the obstacles that were thrown at him. And during his recovery, he always wanted to know what we can do as a healing process to help those who have been impacted by gun violence. And that's where Connecticut Victims Against Violence came from back in 2014. We started to reach out to families who were impacted by gun violence and just, to do a simple gesture, whether it was to send our condolences if they lost a loved one, or just to give a simple hug, or maybe dinner, just to let them know that they are not alone. Because during the course of Tyreek's recovery, I felt so alone. I didn't feel like we had any help. I just felt like we were in a dark space, and that's something that I didn't want others to have to go through. I wanted to let them know that they weren't alone, and although they're going through something that's so tragic, someone out there is still thinking about them. Then we started expanding to whereas we would do a Christmas event, which is called Connecticut Victims Against Violence Holiday Event, where we give this huge Christmas party every year for not only those who have been impacted by gun violence, but also for those who have been impacted by any type of violence, whether it's domestic violence, whether they have some mental health issues, just anything. And what we do at these events, it's a free event for the community. They come, they have a meal. We prepare a meal for them so everyone eats. We have local performers come out. A lot of the youth come out to showcase their talent. Just a day of fun to keep their mind off of what we're going through in the city. Just a fun day. All the kids leave with a gift, and those families that are sponsored, we also provide Christmas gifts for their family as well.
So a couple of things. First of all, I am a part of this event with September every year. And Tyreek is someone special to me, and someone that I visited in the hospital when he was shot. And I just couldn't believe that this little child was there in the hospital bed and this had happened to him. He was just heading to the store, right? He was going to get something at the convenience store, right? During the parade?
Yeah, they were actually on their way coming back. Him and two of his cousins, they were coming back from, it was hot. It was a very hot day. So they were coming back from getting popsicles. And some guys began to argue and just started shooting. And they thought that they were running away from the gunfire, but they were actually running towards it. And 6 people got shot that day. One of them, the intended target, he died. He was 20-something years old. And Tyreek, all the other kids was under 16. All the other 5 was under 16. But Tyreek was the one who, had gotten it the worst by getting a bullet to the head.
It's just awful. Yeah. It's just awful. So I have been a part of this event every year, and I'm so proud that you always ask me to come and hang out with all the kids because it's so fun. And one year, it wasn't last year, I think it was the year before September, Michi, September actually reenacted that day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it was just so my heart sank September because, as a parent, I can never imagine that happening, you know?
Right.
And she was able to, reenact it and just show, what she went through, and it was just unbelievable.
Mm.
That I think that was one of the hardest things that I had to ever do with hosting the event. But not only, I mean, we don't only just do the event for the kids to have fun. It's also an educational day. It's also to educate them about gun violence prevention. So that was the reason I decided that particular year, which was actually not last year, the year before, that we needed to reenact it because I needed them to visualize what it was that caused us to, have this event, or what it was that we had to go through during that time. I needed to not only let them hear our story, I needed them to visualize it. And I felt like the message came across. I felt like everybody got it. I don't think it was a dry eye in the house.
No,
But
it
Right.
it
was
was more so,
so.
like I said, to educate about gun violence prevention, because what we went through, like we don't want any other families to have to go through what we went through on that day, or just the recovery process period. And I just thank God that Tyreek is still here to be able to tell his story, because there are people who have had the same type of injuries that he had and haven't survived.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're from Hartford, and I mean, I assume you were born and raised in Hartford, right? Have you been here
I
your
was,
whole life?
yeah, I'm born and raised in
Yeah.
Hartford.
So, what can we do to help with this problem, because it is an ongoing problem. People are still getting shot and they're
Mhm.
dying. Um, what can we do to really help out this issue? I mean, Michi was shot. Michi was shot in the leg, and he saw a
Mhm.
bullet in his leg, just from leaving a club.
Right.
So, what can we do about this problem?
I think the biggest thing is educate. Put it out there in the schools, because it's a lot of the youth that's right now that they're saying is responsible for a lot of the gun violence here and the urban communities. I feel like educate, and also I feel like hold your legislators accountable, hold your city councilmen accountable, hold your mayors accountable. Let them know that we need things in place for these children, and places and things in place for these children to go to. We need funding,
Mm.
because I think a lot of times the kids, they have nowhere to go. They have no money, so they're going out here and they're robbing. They're going out here and they're hustling because they don't have any other means of getting the things that they need. So I think that you just go talk to your legislators and let them know we need the funding. We need our kids off the street.
Hmm.
That's the main thing, getting our children off the street.
Right.
So, Michi, you grew up in New Britain, and you're younger than September and I.
Mhm.
So did you find that to be your experience as well?
Yeah. I mean, I think that it's a lot what September said, and I think it's what happens is, when you're a kid and there's nothing to really do, you just kind of you do what all the older people are doing. So you see the older people outside, you see the older people on the corners, you see the older people, and these are the people that you look up to, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So when you don't have those maybe positive role models, but you just have those people around, those are the people that you're gonna follow around and be behind. So I think that is what it is. We got to get these kids busy. We got to get them in programs. We got to get them involved in things, so they can stay away from that, so they can be, just too busy to the point where they don't even have to worry about that, and find those things that these kids like to do.
Mhm.
Some of these kids love sports, but there's no, like what September said, there's no funding for, these leagues or these, these sports where these kids can play. Same thing with just activities. Some of these kids love music, they love to DJ, they love to dance, they love to do all of these things, but there's just nowhere to go for them to do these things. So I definitely agree, with September, especially when it comes to the funding stuff.
And is the true problem that politicians tend to live in suburban areas?
Mm-hmm.
with really amazing schools and
Hmm.
amazing safe neighborhoods. So they can't even connect with
Right.
what goes on in these communities.
Right. And I think that's where we have a community. We have to be active, and we have to let our voices be heard. We have to go to these meetings and let them know, like, stop putting a band-aid on something that needs surgery. Like, we're allowing them to just sweep a lot of the things that's going on in our community under the rug. And
Mm.
again, that is because they not experiencing it. They're going to the suburbs, back to their happy homes, and they don't have to live the life that we live and deal with the struggles that we have to deal with on a daily basis. And it's not probably because they don't care, but how can they fix something that they know nothing about?
Right. They
Right.
have to listen to the folks in that community.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So now you have this COVID situation. We can't do the annual holiday events. I'm so sad about it. Because can I tell you something? Like every year I cry. I cry every year because, like last year, one whole family that you sponsored, like got a bike, and, the kids, their faces were they just lit up. I mean, you
Yeah.
could tell that these kids were so happy that you gave them such incredible gifts for the holidays, September. Like these were things that these kids can use, clothes and like I said, a bike to ride, and stuff that a lot of kids would, not even think too much of, that are, entitled,
Mm.
or in a different situation. These kids were so happy, and I cried because you made them so happy. So how can we do that again this year, with COVID hanging over our heads?
I think I cry every year.
Yeah.
I think I cry every year, and it's more of tears of joy, just to be able to have the support that I have, because I can't do it by myself. So I reach out to the community a lot, like when it comes in terms of our Christmas event. Because of the pandemic this year, it makes it that much more difficult, because a lot of people are, struggling. So
Right.
they're not able to donate as they would have, in the past. And we're not able to give the big Christmas party that we're used to giving. Like, I think last year we was probably at 400
There's
people.
a lot of people there last year. A
We're
lot of
like
plates of
400
food were made, Michi. A lot of plates of food. I was like,
Yeah,
damn,
we were
where
like
did they
we're
get
like
all this food? There's
400
a lot of cooking that
people.
went on.
And then, like, we're like 400 people. So what we decided to do this year, because we wanted to, keep Connecticut Victims Against Violence holiday event alive. Like, we didn't want it to die just because of the pandemic. Because there are still families out there who look forward to this every year. Like, they're in my inbox, they're on my phone, like July, August, asking, like, is there any way we can get sponsored this year? Is there anything, that you need? I have people that's willing to sponsor, every year. But like I said, because of the pandemic, it's kind of difficult this year. So what we decided to do was, we had a registration this year, because we are not going to be able to host the event because of COVID. So we have about 100 children that's on this registration list. And what I'm asking of the community is if they can just donate toys, any toys for ages newborn to 13 years old. If they can donate toys, or if they can donate a gift card, um monetary donations, just so we could be able to sponsor these children. Because again, like I said, this is something that they look forward to. It's unfortunate that I was only able to have the registration list open to the 100 people, because I would have loved to have it, the 300-400 that
Yeah,
we have
I
every year.
know.
But I'm struggling so hard trying to get toys. Is no way. I would definitely open the list back up if I get more donations, because I do have a waiting list as well. Like, I was able to, put some people on the waiting list, and I will open it back up if I get more donations. And but as of now, like, I'm really, really struggling trying to um meet the quota of just 100, families that I have. So any little bit helps. Like, anything, any little bit helps.
So how can we donate?
You can donate by contacting me personally, or I have my Cash App set up for Connecticut Victims Against Violence, which is $ CTVAV. I'm willing to come to you to pick up donations, like anything. Just contact me personally. And I also have the Connecticut Victims Against Violence Facebook page as well, and then my personal Facebook page. You can message me. You can call me. My phone number is 860-221-6055.
Okay. So where can we drop the toys off? You said you're willing to come to us, which is awesome, but I mean, then you're spending your gas money. So is there a place that, you are going to be taking toys or no?
Right now we don't have a set location. Because of COVID, a lot of places don't want you in and out of the buildings.
Yeah.
So we don't really particularly have a set location, but we do have a storage area in East Hartford. But again, you will still have to contact me and I can meet you there.
Okay. Yeah. So you said newborn to 18?
13 years old.
Okay.
And
All
that's
right.
even different because you remember, before we were going all the way up until 16, 17 years old.
I know.
But it's so hard this year.
Yeah.
This COVID is really, really horrible.
It is. It is. So everybody needs to donate because we got to make these kids happy. And then once we can fill that 100 people or 100-person list, we can make the list even bigger and make more people happy.
Right.
Right. I mean, I would love to do that because, like you said, the smiles that you get at the end of the day is priceless. Like, I get some kids give me the biggest hugs. They're like, oh my gosh, like, this is, I mean, and to us, it's something so simple, but to a child that doesn't have, it's something so big. But just to be able to see the smiles on their faces, like, it's amazing.
Well, that's what my point was a few minutes ago, and I'm not quite sure I phrased it correctly, but, for a lot of kids that, whose parents are able to get them stuff all the time, they live a certain blessed lifestyle and good for them, but not all families have that. And, and when they're at your Victims Against Violence holiday event, and you see these kids that probably thought they would never get a bike, receive something that great, their faces they just light up. And they cry. Oh my gosh, last year the little boy cried so hard, Michi. Like he cried.
Yep.
Like so hard. Like, and how old is he? Because I know that you know that little boy. Is he
Yeah, he's
like 8 or 9 or something, right?
Right now I think he's 11.
Oh, he's 11.
Maybe
Okay.
10,
I wasn't quite
11.
sure. Okay.
Yes, I'm still in contact. And see, that's another thing. When I do these events, it's just not, I'm just doing it for the day. I'm still in contact with these families.
Right. Yeah.
Like I see the little boy sometimes when because I drive the city bus. I see him and I see his mom and I see remember the little girl, the daughter,
the little sister. Yeah.
I see them and they're waving. I think every city bus they see, they must think it's me. But when I see them, they're waving, they're smiling. They live locally, so I see them in a grocery store sometime. Like, I have close relationships with a lot of these families because I'm here. I'm living here in the community. Right. So they see me. They see me outside of just this one day. And it's times that they're asking me for resources, like so other things that they might need help with. And I'm that go-to person because they know I'm genuine about everything that I do. And if I can help, I'm gonna help. And if I can't help, I'm gonna try to put you in a position to where someone else can help you.
Right.
Yeah. He cried, and he, he like Michi, like bawled because he saw this bike. And I just can't stress that enough. That's how desperate he felt for something really great, and I just, these kids mean a lot in this community, and going back to what we were talking about earlier about violence and everything that goes on in these communities, these kids need that light at the end of the tunnel, there's that ray of hope. And we have to make that happen for these kids this year. We have to. There's just, if we're not having a holiday event, cool, but we need to still make them happy. Families are trying to pay their bills now. They're trying to put food on the table. And, I've heard of stories where, parents were like, hey, listen, you're not going to be able to get anything for Christmas, but I get paid the day after or a week after, and then I can get you something.
I've been there. I've
Yeah,
been there.
it's
I've been that
hard.
parent.
It's hard for
It's
these
hard.
kids, you know, it
Right.
really is. And I want us to be able to provide a great holiday for these children. I do.
Yeah.
So, once again, how can we donate? And also, we'll also talk about this during the afternoon too, so
Okay.
that we can get these donations going for these kids. Um,
Okay. They
so
can
once again,
contact me.
yeah, go ahead.
They can
Sorry.
contact me. My phone number is 860-221-6055. They can contact me via Facebook, September Chat Field, or CT Victims Against Violence. That's our Facebook page. And they can also, if they decide that they want to do a monetary donation, it's Cash App, $ CTVAV.
VAV. So CTVAV for that Cash App.
Yes.
Okay, great. So anything will help. You want to cash app
Anything.
$5,
$5,
$10.
anything.
I always feel like
Everything
when you do
adds
that
up.
anyway, like even if you only have, because a lot of families are, even middle class families are in a different position this year. A lot of
Yes.
families. So even if you give that $5, you might think, oh, it's just $5. It means a lot to a child
It
that
means a
needs,
lot.
Right.
to
Yeah,
go.
because $5, we can go to Five and Below and we can get a toy, wrap it up, and the kids just as happy.
September, you're the best, honestly.
I'm
And
serious.
no, you are the best. You are the best. And also, it makes you feel so good to donate. It
It
makes you
does.
feel
I mean,
so good
like I
to
said, the
donate.
smiles are priceless.
Yeah. Oh, that's so great. Okay, so let's go over it one more time. The Facebook page is CT Victims
CT
Against Violence.
Victims Against Violence.
Your phone number is,
860-221-6055.
and the Cash App.
$CTVAV.
Please give whatever you possibly can. And if you just want to give like a new unwrapped toy, because we're looking for new unwrapped toys, okay? Make sure and just contact September or the Facebook page directly, and she will meet up with you where you can go and drop off the toy to her. She's willing to
Yes,
spend her gas money and her time to go pick up this toy. So, please just give it whatever you can this year for these kids because they need it. They need it.
they do.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah. Well, thanks so
I
much,
think
September.
everyone should be able to open up at least one gift on Christmas Day.
I
Yeah.
believe so
Yeah.
too. I do believe so. And it's so sad. It's just so, it's heartbreaking for me,
Yeah, it is.
that children will be without. And they have been without in the past, sometimes. And it's heartbreaking. So we have to make sure that we can do whatever we can.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thanks so much, September. And she's from Connecticut Victims Against Violence. And